Let's go. We got a lot of snaps off. We had a lot of extended drives, and I know that people would say, well, that means the defense isn't playing good. But, I mean, we would try to not bring so many pressures today. We've been heating each other up pretty good all week. So I'm not saying the scrimmage was rigged for the offense to have success, but it was not as Coach Leb didn't dial us up as normally. We came out healthy, we think, and that's always a good thing. We got about 75 snaps in, so that's good. I don't think there were any turnovers, so that means the defense did bad, right? Offense did good. There's just always that. We got some good stuff in special teams done, and that was good as well.
Now that the official fall camp is kind of drawn to a close, did you accomplish everything you wanted in that period? What kind of progress have you seen with the group?
Well, I guess we'll know more, as the season goes on, but we feel like we have. The biggest deal is getting those jobs solidified and third down package on defense. How are we going to bring pressure and who's going to do that? Offensively, the left tackle, the running back spot, the second tight end. Those were things we were battling. Second quarterback. So we think we got all those questions answered, and we'll see soon.
Do you want to share some of those, or are those a surprise?
Yeah, we're just going to wait. It's just who knows if we're gaining any advantage whatsoever. But I imagine we'll have a two deep announced here in the next 5 days. When does Kyle usually even ask for that? I don't even know when he asked for that.
Game week? Yeah, Tuesday or something.
9 days then.
When we talked about getting all the transfers in here, the thing you mentioned the most was getting them into the culture. How have you seen that process unfold?
I would say 85% total buy-in. 15% still, man, this is crazy. This is different, right? But I would say 85% just like best things ever happened to them in their lives. Where maybe 15-20% they're like maybe not quite sure of all this craziness yet.
How do you do that? Is it just having them in the environment and hearing what the culture pillars are about, or how do you kind of set that process in motion?
Yeah, we're very consistent. It doesn't change. Like, we don't back off of it. It's same as, like, we all speak the same language. I've even said that to y'all before. We need to come up with some name for that. I think one of y'all had a really good name for it one time, Bird Talk or something. I don't know what it was. But we're just consistent, and our players are really bought in. Like Dadrian Taylor, you're not going to play defense here. Dadrian Taylor and Rashad Wisdom, Trevor Harmonson, Jamal Ligon, they're not letting anybody watch on that defense. It's not all the way what we believe. Offensively, Josh Cephas, JT, Maka Mackay, Frank, Brendan Brady, Zakari Franklin, they're not letting anybody on that. Those kids are all about it. And we're a player-led team, and I listen to those guys. And I back those guys. And it's different, right? There are probably very few teams where the players get to have as much autonomy as our guys do. And you're going to listen to them. But if you don't, you're not going to play here.
Does that just come because of the experience, or why do they have so much control, that autonomy you mentioned?
They're just that mature. They're that bought in. They understand it. And they know it works. And it will work if they all buy in and believe it. They know that. It's not like hope anymore. It's like conviction. And Dadrian and Rashad and Frank, those guys are all in now. And they have been. Day-Day and I got off to a rough start. Very few people know that. I mean, he was one of the first ones that took me on Twitter early in his career. And we worked through it, right? And now he really knows what we do is we're trying to take care of him. And he knows that. And he is bought in. And that's why it works. Those kids make it work.
Jeff, do you guys enter like the planning stages of the roster with a certain number of guys you think you want to play, or how do you guys develop that? Because I mean, obviously with the travel squad you're limited, but it seems like there's a lot of playmakers on this team that's going to be hard to keep off that field.
Right, and that's what you do. I mean, that's really what coaching is. I mean, what do they do well? And I know I say it all the time, and you're like, oh, this seems so easy. And it really is, I guess, if you can identify what they're really good at. And once you identify what they're really good at, get them there. And the matchups where they're going to be successful as well, that shows off their skill and their talent. So there's no number. like we're high on defense right now.
Yeah.
Like we're high as far as guys that can make plays. So we're trying to come up with a lot of packages for those kids to be able to get to play and exploit what they do well. Same with offense. What do those guys do well? But then what I'm convicted of as a head coach, I want to be very physical on defense.
Yeah.
So the kids got to be able to run and strike, which all those kids we pretty much have recruited have done that. Offensively, we want to have a nasty attitude and run the football. So our receivers have got to block.
Yeah.
If they don't block, they're not going to play. So I know you're going, so you're telling me, if Zakari and Josh, and they don't block, you're not going to play them. Well, see, I don't do it that way, though. Like, that's not the way I operate. Like, I truly try to teach and get those kids to understand that this will help you if you'll do this. And those kids are all bought in. It's not like I go in there and I say it's my way or highway. It just won't work. I've raised 3 children. If you think you're going to whip your children to death or put them in timeout to death, you're going to have a very frustrating parent life. And you've got to make it their idea. Somehow you've got to convince that locker room this is their idea. And when you teach and you try to educate, those kids buy in more and it becomes their idea and they become the teachers of all those packages or all those plays or blocking when they're not getting the ball. And that's the secret to the sauce, in my opinion, is thank God I had 3 children and I learned how to screw it up a lot, right?
I think one of the guys we're going to talk to today is Joe Evans. We haven't talked to him since he got here, and it's a little surprising to see a man that big on the end of the D-line there. Just what are your expectations of him? And then I guess, how did you guys get him here? Can you talk about that process a little?
You're going to love him, first of all. I mean, he's just a very mild-mannered, beautiful smile. And I just got lucky. I was at the University of Arkansas, and I was coaching a running back named Kendrick Jackson. He actually played kind of a hybrid fullback, when we replaced those guys, Bill Bill had a fullback. So he was an unbelievable fullback. But, Coach Morris has a tight end running back. He didn't really have like that hybrid. Yeah. He'd be like UTSA's version of Miles Benning, right? So we didn't know what we were going to do with him. So I took him in my room. And he was a running back for me, short yardage situation, and I loved the kid because he had the locker room. This kid had the locker room. And little did I know his first cousin was going to be Joe Evans. They're from Haynesville, Louisiana. And Kendrick hit me up and said, man, he's getting in the portal, coach, and I'm going to try to send him your way. And I looked and I saw I think he started and played some as a freshman on the national championship team. And he's played off and on for 3 years. And I watched this video. I'm like, man, this guy will wreak havoc in Conference USA. We started recruiting. And, man, we got him here, and I'm so thrilled. He's a wonderful human, a really good football player, and he's going to make a difference for our defense.
With Nick Fortune in particular, another one of the transfers you've brought in here, what kind of attributes make him a standout, or what does he bring to the defensive back group for you guys?
Nick and Joe are 2 of the guys, like literally since day one, they would fit in our culture. I bet you could ask them that. I hope I'm right. They seem like they're having a blast. I mean, they're just like our kids are. And Nick's just been that way since day one. He's gotten better every day. He's got a great attitude, got a great smile. We play differently on defense, so they're having to learn some things that are not taught by we just do it differently. And that's been a change for them, but I think you'll be really, really, maybe not surprised. That sounds like you didn't have high expectations to begin with. You'll be pleased just how mature and how bought in those kids are.
I'm going to see if they can name the culture pillars. Do you think they're going to nail it?
No, we haven't done it enough. And I've done a poor job of going off the fingers, and that's the best way to learn it, is because it kind of gives you like a cheating tool. And because we have so many veterans, I've not done a great job with the new guys. Now, they've been here long enough. We've been through them all. We're on passion. Now that's where they could pass. If you said, what was the culture pillar this week? They'll know it was passion. If they don't know that, I'm in trouble. I'm the worst teacher in the world. But I'm going to say, no, they're not going to know the culture pillars because I've done a terrible job of going through the fingers. I've just been teaching each week. So I'm going to say no.
Y'all are 2 weeks out from the Houston game. Just kind of what are your overall thoughts on this season coming up as a whole? And
yeah, I've said this on record, and to all my friends too, we have a good team. This is undoubtedly our toughest schedule since I've been here. And trust me, I knew what the schedule was like for the next 2 years. I mean, we talk about culture pillar violation, looking down the road, right? But when you have the option to leave or stay, you start looking at things, right? And there's a reason I went for that 10-year contract. Y'all might be trying to run me out of town these next 2 years, right? So, but again, opportunity or adversity. It's really, you got to look at it. What a great opportunity we have. And no coach talk there. What a great opportunity. Top 25 Houston, arguably top 25 Army, arguably top 25 Texas. I mean, Army beats Auburn in the bowl game last year, and Auburn's ranked that high, and Army's not, which I don't ever understand that stuff. But yeah, it's an exciting schedule for a fan, and what a great game to start it off with 3 hours down the road. They've done such a great job there. They're in the Big 12 now. Really happy for Dana and those guys. He's a really good coach. He's been doing it for a long time.
When you look at the running back room, is there a scenario where Traylor Smith could get the bulk of the carries, or does it need to be like a bigger, more physical workhorse kind of guy who's handling that role?
I've always said, even when we weren't doing what I said what I wanted to do, I would much rather that be a committee. It's just hard to do what Sincere McCormick did, and Brendan just couldn't stay healthy, or we would have done that the last 2 years. But Brendan just kept getting hurt because that position is physical, which is so amazing about Sincere McCormick. It's the kid carried the ball that many times, and stayed healthy, had a great attitude the entire time. So no, I would hope that room looks more like we had it envisioned to begin with, either a 3-headed monster or a 2-headed monster.
Is there anybody we haven't touched on maybe who has been a standout in fall camp? Maybe somebody who has emerged who you might not have expected or has taken a huge leap forward?
Some depth guys you might not, we haven't talked about a lot. Ronnie Garza's coming on. Luke Lopez is coming on. Dan Dishman's coming on. Chris Carpenter. Kavorian Barnes on the opposite side of the ball. Defensively, some guys you might, Avery Morris is coming on. Ken Robinson moving to safety, has done really well there. You mentioned Nick and Zay at corner. Corey Mayfield's steady every single day. Xavier Players had a good camp. Had a really good camp. Trey Moore's had a good camp, which we talked about him. We talked about Jared Sackett. So yeah, they're guys. Cam and Eddie Lee, those quarterbacks have really come on. So, and yeah, we're excited about a lot of those guys.
A couple of young guys you mentioned there, Cam Cooper and Ronnie Garza. How is it surprising that those young guys are kind of doing so well this early in their careers?
Isn't it scary? Isn't it sad that you're scared as a head coach to talk too much about your young guys?
Yeah.
Because you're so scared someone's going to try to buy them from you.
Right.
That and I'm going to answer your question.
Yeah,
it's a fair question. Those kids deserve to be talked about.
Yeah.
But it's just sad that you're now worried about bragging about your young kids.
You have to walk the line or a little bit.
But I'm going to be true to our culture, and I'm going to love our kids up and give them what they deserve. But yeah, Cam Cooper's had a great camp. He's going to be a really good tight end for us, as is Houston Thomas. Both those kids have really done well. But yeah, Ronnie's moved into guard and done really well, as has Luke. But the reason that happened is because our tackles have played so well, our two city kids. I mean, Ben Rios has just been really good at left tackle, and DeAndre Marshall at right tackle. So that allowed us to kick those kids inside. So our line got way better by our city taking care of us. I mean, I feel strongly that what Central Catholic did for the UTSA will benefit this university for sure 4 more years. I hope all my boosters are listening. We don't want anybody hustling our kids out here.
We're going to have Buttons Day at the Alamo Dome.
Yeah, it's just, it's sad that that's what it is, but it is. It's where we are now. I'm happy for the kids. I really am. The kids deserve it, man. I'm happy for them.
Where are you guys at with that in the NIL process? How do you feel like you guys are doing?
We're close. We've got another collective about ready to get up and running. They're just waiting for the IRS to get that thing taken care of. We've got the Runners Rising, who they bust their tail all the time. We've got individual boosters that are reaching out to our kids more and more every day. We've got businesses that are doing things now, food-wise, for our kids. And it's what's amazing. So many people come up to me and say, Coach Traylor, we only have like $100, $200 a month. And I'll be like, those kids will be, just go hook those, go find the kids. Find them. That's a phone bill. Because so many of our kids are first generation. And a lot of their money goes back home. And they're just trying to get by themselves, you know. So I'd say we're getting pretty close. And if we're going to keep up with SMU, we're going to have to. They're on a different level for that right now. I know I'm not supposed to say that because of recruiting, but they are. But our kids are doing well too. It's just maybe not to the level of organization. Let's be honest, some schools have been doing NIL for a long time. Now it's legal. Isn't that what NIL stands for?
Yeah. I haven't heard that one before. I like that.
We good, man?
I think we're set.
I think we were. Yeah.
Yep.